The night was glittering with city lights when Adrian King, one of the country's youngest billionaires, stepped out of his sleek black limousine, his hand gently wrapped around that of a woman who wasn't his wife. Cameras flashed, the hotel doors opened, and the staff hurried to welcome him. The five-star Grand Royal Hotel had seen many high-profile guests, but tonight, its marble floors were about to witness something no money could erase. Adrian smiled, the kind of smile that hid secrets. He thought he was in control. He had no idea the universe had arranged a lesson that would break his heart wide open. Inside the hotel lobby, chandeliers sparkled like captured stars, and the air smelled of expensive perfume. The woman beside Adrian, Vanessa, laughed lightly, her voice floating like silk. "You promised me the best night of my life," she teased. Adrian chuckled. "You'll get more than that." His voice carried the confidence of a man who owned everything, or thought he did. But as they reached the restaurant, something inside him shifted. A strange nervousness tingled in his chest, the kind that whispered of coming storms. He'd been married to Emily for 8 years. She had stood by him when he was broke, when the world laughed at his ideas, and when he dreamt too big. But success had changed him. Fame had wrapped him in arrogance, blinding him to the woman who had once been his world. He started chasing new thrills, convincing himself that Emily would never know. Tonight was supposed to be another secret escape, until fate decided to interfere. The maitre d' led them to a private table by the window, overlooking the glittering skyline. Adrian leaned back in his chair, confident, relaxed. Vanessa sipped her wine, tracing her fingers along the rim of the glass. Everything seemed perfect, until a soft voice interrupted them. "Good evening, sir. May I take your order?" The sound was polite, familiar, and devastating all at once. Adrian froze. His heart dropped into his stomach. He looked up, and time stopped. Standing before him, wearing a simple black waitress uniform, was Emily. Her eyes were tired but steady, her lips curved in a professional smile that didn't reach her eyes. For a second, Adrian couldn't breathe. The woman who once wore diamonds and designer gowns was now serving tables in the very hotel he brought his mistress to. The color drained from his face. Vanessa blinked in confusion, looking between them. "Adrian, do you two know each other?" Emily didn't flinch. "I'm your waitress tonight," she said softly, her tone steady as if she were speaking to a stranger. Her eyes glimmered, not with tears, but with strength. Adrian's mind raced. He had left her with everything, the house, the money, so why was she here? He wanted to speak, to explain, but words felt like poison in his throat. Emily took their orders with calm dignity, her hand steady though her heart trembled beneath her apron. As she walked away, Adrian's chest burned. Every laugh from Vanessa now sounded hollow. Every sparkle of the chandelier mocked him. He couldn't stop watching Emily as she moved gracefully from table to table. The realization hit him like a blow, she wasn't working there because she needed money. She was working because she needed to find herself again, away from the man who had broken her. Vanessa excused herself to make a phone call, leaving Adrian alone. He rose and followed Emily toward the kitchen. "Emily, please," he whispered. "Why are you doing this?" "You don't need to," she turned sharply, her eyes fierce. "Don't you dare pity me, Adrian. You took our vows and shattered them like glass. I gave you love, loyalty, and my soul. And you gave me betrayal." Her voice cracked, but her spirit didn't. Adrian reached out, guilt flooding his veins. "I was stupid. I lost myself. You have no idea how sorry I am." Emily's lips trembled, but she shook her head. "Sorry doesn't unbreak hearts, Adrian. It doesn't erase nights I cried alone, waiting for a man who never came home." Her eyes softened just slightly. "But I'm not here for revenge. I'm here to prove to myself that I can stand, even without you." Those words struck deeper than any accusation. For the first time in years, Adrian felt small, stripped of power, wealth, and pretense. He returned to his table silently, his appetite gone. When Vanessa came back, she noticed his silence and frowned. What's wrong? He didn't answer. How could he explain that the woman he once ignored now looked stronger than he ever felt? Dinner ended quietly. When Emily brought the bill, Adrian slipped a card between her fingers. "For you," he murmured. But she gently pushed it back. "Keep your money, Adrian. I don't need it. What I needed was your respect, and you gave it to someone else." She smiled faintly, turning to leave. That smile, not angry, not bitter, just free, tore him apart inside. Days passed, but Adrian couldn't sleep. Every boardroom meeting, every luxury car ride, every moment of silence reminded him of her voice. He began canceling business dinners, staying home alone. For the first time, he looked around his mansion and realized, it was a palace built on emptiness. Emily had been the heartbeat of his life, and he had traded it for a lie. Weeks later, he went back to the hotel. He asked for her, but she had left. The manager said she'd quit, moving to a small coastal town to start a cafe. Without thinking, Adrian booked a flight. For once, it wasn't about control. It was about redemption. He needed to tell her what she deserved to hear, not as a billionaire, but as a man who finally understood what love truly meant. When he arrived, he found her cafe overlooking the ocean, small, warm, alive. Emily stood behind the counter, laughing with customers, her face radiant in the sunlight. She looked happy. Truly happy. He approached her quietly, his voice trembling. "Emily." She turned, surprise flickering in her eyes. He looked different, humble, human. "I came to say I'm sorry. Not to win you back, but to thank you, for showing me what real strength looks like." Emily's eyes softened. For a moment, silence hung between them, filled with memories, laughter, pain, love. Then she nodded slowly. "I forgave you long ago, Adrian. Not for you, but for me. Holding on to pain only keeps us both trapped." She smiled, genuine and warm. "I hope you find peace too." And just like that, she turned back to her customers, her heart free. Adrian walked out of the cafe, tears slipping down his face. For the first time in years, he felt something deeper than success, humility. He realized that love wasn't about possession or perfection. It was about loyalty, respect, and the courage to choose kindness even after being hurt. Months later, he sold half of his company and started a foundation to support women rebuilding their lives after betrayal. It was his way of making amends, of turning guilt into grace. He never saw Emily again, but her presence lived in every act of compassion he performed. And sometimes, when he looked at the sunset, he'd whisper to the wind, "Thank you, Emily, for teaching me what wealth truly means." Because in the end, the richest man isn't the one who owns the world, it's the one who learns to value a heart he once took for granted. The hotel scandal that once humiliated him became the story that transformed him. The billionaire who lost his wife found his soul. And Emily, the waitress who chose dignity over despair, became the symbol of unbreakable strength.